Well, g'day everybody, and welcome back to bush flying in Botswana and OnAir. So in the last episode, we flew down to Morn Airport. We hired a new employee. We rented a Britain Norman Islander, and we've got that employee out doing that right now. We're currently at Morn, and the other thing that I wanted to do was I wanted to create an FBO. So I've gone into the airport details here for Morn, Foxtrot Bravo, Mike, and November, and as you can see, there's already a Snowden Airways FBO here as well as the Morn FBO. Snowden Airways is selling fuel for $5.60 a gallon, but we want to create our own FBO here. So what I want to do is because I basically want an aircraft maintenance shed here as well. So so we're going to go in here and we're going to see if we can create one. Then we're going to head off on the second stage of our flight to deliver some cargo and some passengers and stuff. So we want a cargo hangar. I'm going to put I might put say 3,000 pounds of cargo in there. I do want to have 100 LL, so I want to have 3,000 litres of that in there, and I want to have 3,000 litres of jet fuel as well. There we go, or maybe even 5,000 of jet fuel. There we go, lovely. Don't need any crew rooms. Aircraft tie downs is for us to, we don't have to pay to store our aircraft here if our aircraft are here overnight. So I might throw a tie down in here. I might actually throw two tie downs in here. Per gallon, we're looking at about 560, so 540 to be a little bit competitive. Jet fuel, I'm not sure. We'll change these at some point anyway, because you can change them. So that'll be our FBO. We'll have 3,000 pounds of cargo hangar. We'll have 100 LL fuel. We'll have 3,000 litres, and jet fuel will have 5,000 litres. So I reckon that should be all right. I don't know whether to reduce that. Let's get a quotation and see how much this is going to cost us. It's going to cost us $492,000 to build. It's going to take 30 minutes to get the project management done, 2 days for the license, 13 hours, 21 hours, and 2 hours for the tie down. So it's going to take a few days to do. Now this happens in real time, so we'll see how we go. The weekly ownership, I'm not sure what the weekly ownership, whether that's the weekly cost or what, but let's accept that. It will start our FBO, and once that starts working, and once that's built and stuff, then we should be able to get set up a maintenance hangar, and as well as be able to get our fuel and stuff from Morn relatively cheap, which will be pretty good actually. So hopefully that works out really, really well. Next thing that we need to do is we need to go into our aircraft and set our aircraft up for our flight. We're in A2 Hotel Whiskey Lima, our Kodiak. Excuse me. Come on. There we go. So we've got passengers and stuff. That is all loaded and on board. So we've got 2 passengers there. No, we've got 3 passengers actually. Yeah, first class passengers, and we've also got 686 pounds of cargo on. Let's go into fly now. We are flying to Katama Mulilo, and which is Foxtrot Yankee Kilo Mike. Let's hit fly now. Okay, our flight plan is done. Let's get this little beast fired up, shall we? Okay, fuel off. On, sorry. Fuel on there. Let's bring that up as well. Let's put our master battery on. And there she goes. Lovely. Beacon lights on. There we go, sweet. Lovely early morning here, absolutely lovely early morning. Let's put our avionics bus on, and we'll get this fired up so that we can check our engine flow as we go. Now I do have, I am going to work on track IR. I've got track IR set up. There we go, lovely. Wait for 16%. 14, 15, 16 on the NG.
Your flight will be
bring the fuel in.
Land and shut down the engines.
Whiskey Lima, requesting pushback.
Lovely. Need to turn off this. I really need to turn that. I don't know why it brings flight sim off. I'll just cancel that pushback. There we go. Lovely, lovely. Okay, we can get that turned off. Sorry about that, guys. For some reason, let's put our generators on now. For some reason, it does like to do that. It just brings on assistant all the time, every time you start the sim. So let's put our avionics bus on as well. All right, lovely. Our navigation lights can go on. Perfect. We'll just let everything settle. Let it all settle. Everything looks really, really good. Okay, so our flight plan is in for today, and we are going to be taking off, I'm guessing, from about runway 08. So let's go back to clearance, and we will request a taxi to depart. We are departing to the kind of to the northwest, but more to the east, I guess. So we'll set that up.
Ground November 181 Whiskey Lima with Echo request taxi to the active east departure.
November 181 Whiskey Lima taxi to and hold short of runway 08 using taxiway Alpha. Contact tower on 118.7 when ready.
08, there you go. That is what I was expecting.
Taxi to and hold short runway 08 using taxiway Alpha 1 Whiskey Lima.
Okay, so we're going down to 08. We're going to be doing we're going to be turning around and then taxiing out to 08. We're going to get the frame rate killer off. Going to trim the nose of the aircraft down as well. And everything there should be okay. Let's get our taxi lights on. Lovely. And our park brake off. I'm having a little bit of an issue with parking brake settings there as well. Still sorting stuff out. Okay, so now the other thing is I do have, and I'm just going to reset it. I do have track IR set up now, so we'll let that settle itself down, which is going to be pretty interesting because I've got to get used to flying with track IR again. Okay, lovely. Let's bring our throttle down a little bit. Hope everybody is well. I've been looking forward to getting back in. I've been doing some circuits in the Kodiak. Just trying to get myself to the point where I'm really comfortable landing it. So that's the plan anyway. That is the plan anyway. Oh, when I've got track IR, I can't reach my coffee. Although I can pause it. There we go. Okay, we're going to be flying to flight level 120. So we'll get that keyed in with our flight level change. And rolling that up to 101 knots. Don't do that. Don't do that, you silly Billy. All right, we're going to set this up. This is where track IR starts to stress me a little bit, because it can sometimes be really sensitive in because I've got to set it up properly, and it actually takes quite a bit to set it up properly and get it the way you need it. So let's pull ourselves up here. There we go, and Oh, no. We'll just bring our park brake on. And we will continue to adjust our flight level change to 101 for climb out. There we go. Lovely. We're currently carrying, what do we got today? Yeah, we've got passengers and we've got cargo. Lovely. Perfect. Okay, everything else should be okay. All right, and let's see. We're going to go 2 stages of flaps for takeoff as per usual. Our altitude today is going to be 12,000, so we'll set that up. 12,000, as you can see, we're setting it up on here, which should give us a relatively good cruising altitude. That's it. Up you go, up you go, up you go, and right there. Beautiful. We'll set the altimeter, which we should have done previously, 3080. That's confirmed. That is good. We've got our flight level set up. Everything else, I do believe, is ready to go. So we'll just zoom this beast out a little bit so that we can follow our track. Once we get out, so we're going to take off with 2 stages of flaps. Going to need to bring the fuel conditioning to high idle and the propeller to max as well. Everything there is ready to go. Let's confirm with some strobe lights, take our taxi lights off, and I still need to manually do the landing lights like so. Everything else is ready to go. Looking forward to this flight. Looking very, very forward to this flight. It's a nice morning to be taking off. All right. Yes. Brakes on and park brakes off. And let's contact tower and request our clearance.
Tower November 181 Whiskey Lima at runway 08 ready for departure east departure.
November 181 Whiskey Lima altimeter, tree 0.12 wind 079er at 15. East departure approved. Cleared for takeoff runway 08.
All right, that is us. Let's go.
081 Whiskey Lima.
Let's go. Okay, track IR on. Everything seems to be okay there. We'll just confirm our flaps are at 20. Our levers are full. I'm just going to put a little bit of right rudder in for takeoff. There we go. Lovely. That should be enough. And let's just do a rolling start. Everything's all right. Do have an 11 knot headwind basically. And off we go. That's 50 knots. That's 60 knots. Should be able to rotate at about 67 knots. There we go. Perfect.
Airborne time off.
Lovely. Just going to trim the aircraft a little. And just reset that. Bring the throttle down. Bring our flaps up. Look at that sun coming up. How awesome is that? Okay, 1 stage of flaps there. Final stage of flaps there and a little bit of trim. Little bit of trim there. I want to be climbing out at about 101 knots.
1 Whiskey Lima, continue for east departure.
The trim can be a little bit funny at times too.
Tower November 181 Whiskey Lima, continue for east departure.
Bring our throttle down a little bit.
Leaving my airspace frequency, change approved.
There we go, lovely.
Tower November 181 Whiskey Lima, frequency change.
We'll keep him flying out here. And we're going to go autopilot, and we are going to go nav mode as well. There we go, and that should settle us down into our climb. So alright, everything is looking good, everything's green there. Yeah, NG is 98, which is really good. The ITT is below 790, which is what we want. We're currently climbing out, and the aircraft is settling itself to climb out at 101 knots. We're going to tune to Morn approach, which is 126.0. Just changing that on my radio panel, and we'll flip those over as well, and we will contact them. Lovely.
Mon approach November 181 Whiskey Lima is type 3 miles northeast of Mon, 5,600 feet. Request clearance to transition Charlie airspace.
Okay, we'll confirm flaps are up.
181 Whiskey Lima, Mon approach. Squawk 7736.
7736 on our transponder, code 7736, and out.
1 Whiskey Lima radar contact, 4 miles northeast of Mon, 6,200 feet. Cleared through the Charlie airspace. Maintain own navigation.
We'll acknowledge that.
Cleared through the Charlie airspace, 1 Whiskey Lima.
Just confirm our fuel. We've got plenty of fuel for this trip. We didn't need to refuel at all, so that is all good. Everything else is going right. We're climbing out at the correct speed. We're passing through 6,700 feet now. Do need to put the air conditioning on for the punters. Now I'm going to drop that down to 24 degrees today. I might drop it down to 23 degrees, I think, and throw both of those on auto. Let it cool down. We do have a second page on here as well, which is actually really cool, as you can see there. And you can open floor vents, all that type of stuff in there if you need to, which I absolutely love. All right, we're turning onto our north track now. So we're going to head out north. Passing through 7,500 feet now, which is absolutely perfect. The autopilot will catch up with itself. Got some passengers on board, as you can see. Alright, lovely. The other thing that I wouldn't mind doing is we've got the map, then we've got the waypoint information and airport information. Got setup information here that you can actually do on this, which is really cool. Anything that's in blue, so your readouts here, your distance and your direct track, your tracking, your ground speed, your ETA, your ETE plus 16, all that type of stuff is really cool. So any of these you can actually make changes for that. So, you know, for example, your nearest airport runway surface hard or soft, minimum length 1,000 feet. You can change your weight and your temperature readings, your altitude readings, so you can go from feet to, you can go into metric there. Your nautical miles, all that type of stuff. That's actually really cool. It is a really good thing to. I can't wait until they start sort of messing this up. So if you go to nearest there, you can actually see that it gives you all a dotted line to your nearest airport and stuff as well, which is really cool. Let's head back to the map. There we go. Perfect. All right, lovely. Everything's going really well. I'm happy with that. We're at 9,003, passing through 9,400 on our climb to 120. Just keep our eye on that. We're currently climbing out at, we've got 2,200 on the RPM, which is good for climb. The ITT is below 790, seeing about 630, which is good. The torque is set to 1330. For cruise today, we'll probably go down to about 1320 with 2,000 on the MP, so that should give us about 135 knots. which should be good. Not going to worry about that until we get to cruise altitude though. So I hope everybody is really well. Thank you so much for the support that you guys have given me in regards to this series. I think people are really enjoying it. And for those of you that do have the scenery, the Okavango Delta, I hope that you guys are actually enjoying it as well. We just got a ding, which means that we're basically sort of 2,000 until we hit our altitude. It's a beautiful day out here today, as always. We are now sitting at 4 degrees. I do need to throw our pit heat on. There we go, lovely, because we are at an outside temperature of 4 degrees. We could have issues there if we do not set that. I find it really interesting. You've got that little thing there, that little cable there, and that basically is for your buttons that you have on your yoke and stuff. The honeycomb flight yoke and switch panel that I have actually has that on it as well. You've got to plug it in. It's like a data cable. You got to plug it into the yoke handle, and it allows you to use all the buttons and trimmings and stuff on the yoke, which is really cool. The Cytec one that I had previously just had them running through the shaft in the middle, as opposed to having that data there. So I thought that was pretty cool. We are getting to our altitude now. It's time to bring our RPM down to about 2,000 as the plane begins to level itself out. Down to about 2,000, which is about there. We will keep monitoring that because that will change a little bit. And cruise, yeah, probably about 1420 on the RPM, I think. We don't want to go too much more. We are paying for our own fuel. It's not like we're working for a company. All right, beautiful. Yep, I'm pretty happy with that. 2,000, about 135. We'll get to 135, maybe a little bit more, and that is the most economical. That we can have on our flight. Okay, so when we arrive at our destination, we're expecting calm winds. 3009 on the QNH, and we're going to be around about 18 degrees when we hit the ground. So we've got runway 09 and runway 27. I'm expecting 09, and I've set my flight plan up for runway 09. So we're at 128 nautical miles from our destination. So it's a matter of laying back, relaxing, and enjoying our flight.
1 Whiskey Lima, contact Gaborone Center on 126.1. Good day. 126.1. I'll just acknowledge that in a sec. Just going to change it on my panel. He's going to get upset with me in a minute while I'm scrolling through all of this information. And let's swap over. 1261, tune to approach. You can't be nice in this because as soon as you acknowledge that handoff, then it ought to, yeah, so there we go.
126.1 for 1 Whiskey Lima.
Okay, we're about 43, nearly 42 nautical miles out, so we're going to actually start our descent. Over 42 nautical miles at our current altitude. I think we're probably going to descend at about I would guess maybe about 950. So if I bring our vertical speed on and I bring our vertical speed down, we should be able to descend at about 950 feet per minute to get us down to the altitude that we actually need to be when we arrive at our next waypoint in 40 nautical miles. The next waypoint that we're arriving at is a waypoint that I've set, which should, with the right turn, line us up on the runway that we're expecting to land on. So I'm just going to keep that vertical speed going. I've set it to 850. I'm just going to keep that going just to see how we go, and see how we feel when we start getting a little bit closer. During the cruise, I have been fiddling a little bit with my track IR, just trying to get everything sort of sorted out so that we're not moving around too much or anything. So I feel like it's pretty good. I feel like it's pretty good now. So hopefully that'll be all right. So we'll just continue to monitor our descent. We are descending a little bit faster because we're obviously I haven't brought the throttle back any yet, but we should be all right. So we're just coming through 11,000 feet, getting down to about 10,000 feet. I'm not sure what the transition is. I'm gonna have to figure out what the transition is out here in Africa, because I do believe it may be it may even be 18,000 feet. I'm not sure, but I'm going to put the landing lights on now and just go with 10,000 for now and see how we go. I'm just going to monitor the speed as we go down. So I think everything else is set. Everything else is right to go. Our estimated time until we arrive at our next waypoint is 10 minutes. And then I think we're about 3 nautical miles, maybe a little bit less out from the runway threshold. So provided with the airport is, I think, 3,135 feet above. So I've set our altitude to 4,200, which will bring us in just sort of a little bit more than 1,000 above the runway for our final approach. So that should be okay. I will just double check my figures just to make sure. Yeah, we're going to be about 3.5 nautical miles out. We will be turning to a heading of 087 to line up with runway 09, so that should be pretty good, and it should be a pretty easy landing at the moment. Out at Katamamulio, which is where we're landing. They're estimating a 3-knot wind at 120. We're currently sitting on 7 knots at 089. So as we sort of descend down, we're descending down through 9,000 feet now. So we should be okay. Everything should be pretty good on that. Everything else is going all right. I'm just monitoring our RPM, monitoring our torque, and just making sure that everything's okay there. Our fuel quantity is good. We're going to be landing relatively light fuel wise, which is okay by me. We're going to slow down to about, I think we're sitting at about 6,000 pounds. So our landing's going to be at about between 64 and 67 knots. So we'll just line ourselves up and get ourselves set up. We're 28 nautical miles out now. We're just descending through 8,200 feet. Just going to just double check the altimeter. The altimeter's okay, 3011. I'm expecting QNH 1019, which I don't have it set to. I don't have it set to that. I have it set to inches, so should be okay. So we'll just double check by our halfway point at about 21 nautical miles. We should be, if we're descending at the correct correct descent rate, at 21 nautical miles from waypoint 2. We should be at about 6,000 feet. So At this point in time, it's looking relatively good. We'll keep monitoring that as we go, and so we're passing through 7,400. We're 25 nautical miles out. We should be okay. We should be okay. How far are we away? We're 8 minutes away from our destination now, so yeah, we'll keep our eye on it. Lovely. I'm so in love with this aeroplane. I'm so in love with flying this aeroplane, and sort of I'm really starting to learn all of its little nuances and how it feels and how it responds and stuff, especially with the throttle. The throttle's one of those things that you don't need to ram up and ram down and, you know, like really power up and really power down. Very, very, very slight adjustments on the throttle as you're coming into land will make a huge difference on whether the aircraft is descending correctly or whether it starts raising or not. So that's one thing that just get comfortable in my seat there. That's one thing that I find really, really interesting. We're at let's see, 21.9 nautical miles out, coming through 6,300. So we're about on track for our correct descent, which is really, really good. Everything else is okay. Our landing lights are on. Our pitot is still on. We've hit 15. We've hit 15 degrees, so I can probably actually bring our pitot off now. I don't think there's any need for that to be on, so we'll drop that off. 15 degrees outside is actually pretty good. So hopefully my flight planning has worked out quite well, and we will end up where we need to be. Just going to reduce the vertical speed just a little bit. Just a little bit. I feel we're actually pretty well on track there anyway. When we went through 21 nautical miles, we were at about 6,000. Maybe just a tad below. I actually missed that point, so alright, everything else is good. So we're starting to we're about 1,000 feet away from our from the altitude that we need to be at. I'm going to reduce even more now, because I feel like we might be going down just a little bit too fast, considering we're 17 nautical miles and we've just passed through 5,000. It's looking lovely out there as always. As always, we've got some scattered clouds, but they are way above us, and very, very minimal as well. So just continuing to adjust the vertical speed. Oh, there's a little bit of turbulence there. I wonder where that's coming from. Can't see anything out there that might be messing with us. We do down at this level, we are suffering a 24 knot wind coming from our right over there, so that's pretty interesting. Well, we're about 14 nautical miles out. I'm just going to bring our descent rate down just a little bit again. Probably to 100 feet per minute should be okay. We're about 5 minutes out, so that'll be 500 feet, which is just about spot on. Probably a little bit less. We'll be down at 4,200 by the time we get there. Hopefully this wind subsides a little bit once we get down a little bit lower, because I am a little bit concerned that we're going to be suffering a 25 knot when we're coming into land. but at least we'll be landing in the right direction. Okay, so we've hit altitude now, but we still have that 20 knot wind. I wasn't expecting a 20 knot wind, but it's just something that we're just going to have to deal with. We have hit altitude about 7 nautical miles out of the point that I wanted to, but that's okay because we are far enough above the ground level anyway. So the beauty about out here is it's relatively flat until we start getting a little bit over that way. So 4,200 feet, 22 knots, 083. So our runway heading's about 087 from what I'm aware. Got some interesting landscape down here as well, some sort of marshy areas and stuff like that. A lot of this out here is all conservation park, so which is pretty cool. We are coming up to a major highway. We're coming up to a major highway soon. It's the Davindu to Malulio highway. And I reckon it's just off the nose there, running right across the end of that tree line there. So, okay, everything's looking good. About 4.2 nautical miles out. I am going to start sorting the aircraft out very, very soon, bringing us down to speed and bringing the flaps that we need in. I do want to be at 2 stages of flaps by our turn, 3 nautical miles out, so that we can bring our final stage of flaps in on landing. It's been a pretty uneventful flight. It's been quite fun though. I do enjoy it. We were up this way landing in town at one point in time, so I'm just going to bring that throttle down now. Going to bring our prop up to full. Make sure that our conditioning is on full. We can put in 1 stage of flaps. There they go, just to slow us down a little bit. I'm going to let the aircraft turn us onto our final approach, and then I'm going to take over. That's the runway over there.
Kadama Tower, November 181 Whiskey Lima, 5 miles southwest, 4,200 feet to land.
Bring another stage of flaps in. Okay, lovely. In we go. Should be a pretty easy landing. Wind is still 20 knots, although they have said that the wind is at 11, so interestingly enough.
Did you hear my last transmission?
Sorry about that.
Cleared to land runway 09 or 1 Whiskey Lima.
Okay, let's bring some speed in. Definitely is that one ahead of us, isn't it? I think I'm seeing the taxiway lit up. Going to bring a little bit of speed back in. I'm going to land at about 67 knots, between 64 and 67 knots.
Wind 090 at 9 knots.
090 at 9. Going to bring another stage of our final stage of flaps in now. Let's just confirm that. That is confirmed. And also bring the nose of the aircraft down a little bit. The trim wants to mess around with us quite a bit. And a little bit of throttle. Don't do that. Come on. Come on. She loves to throw herself around. There we go. And she's definitely a little bit jumpy on the trim as well, so. But it's part of what I really like about this aircraft. Okay, I'm feeling good. Just going to bring the throttle down just a touch. Okay, I want to start practicing. I want to actually start practicing really short landings. So when we come in, I am going to drop everything and throw reverse thrust in. It's not something that we would really need on this runway, but I'm going to do it anyway. Everything's feeling good. We're coming in. I reckon we're right on for the threshold. Maybe a little bit more power, just a touch. And as I said, I'm only adjusting this very, very, very slightly, so this throttle. Using my throttle to control my descent rate. Coming in probably a little bit high now. Just going to bring that throttle down just a touch. I'm going to try and hit that threshold at about 65 knots, hopefully. 66. In we go. And we'll bring that throttle down. Oh, don't, no. Too hard, Simi, too hard. Brought that throttle down a little bit too quick.
1 Whiskey Lima, turn next taxiway.
There we go, yeah, that's, at least we landed pretty short. Landed very short, so I'm pretty happy with that. But I did drop it at the end. Which is a little bit crazy. I'm going to bring those flaps up now. There we go, perfect. And we'll roll off at this taxiway here, I think. It's looking about right.
1 Whiskey Lima, exit runway when able.
Stop being impatient. I heard you the first time.
1 Whiskey Lima, contact ground on 125.6.
Okay.
125.6 for 1 Whiskey Lima.
We'll park him up here. Let's get our landing lights off. Landing lights are off. Taxi lights are going on. Strobes can go off as well. And let's do our request for taxi.
Catamaran ground November 181 Whiskey Lima taxi to parking.
November 181 Whiskey Lima, taxi to general aviation parking via taxiway.
Via taxiway, fancy that.
Taxiing to general aviation parking using taxiway 1 Whiskey Lima.
I was planning on taxiing via the grassway, I think. All right, lovely. Everything's okay. I'm going to bring that mixture down now. There's no need for us to have any mixture on. She does have enough power in her that you can actually taxi on idle, so it's going to be pretty tight going through here, I can tell you. It's going to be very tight. Very, very, very tight, but we'll see how we go. Want to watch those wings. Should be alright. Should just make it, I reckon. If we follow the center line here. Yep, that's looking good. And around there. Okay, there we go. Gonna kill everybody. That'll be perfectly fine. Alright, let's throw our park brake on. Just gonna double check our park brake has gone on. It has. And we'll drop our throttle down. Bring our prop back to full feather.
Engine off, time logged.
And cut our throttle.
The flight is finished. It has been monitored by OnAir.
Right, lovely. Lovely, 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 lovely. let her settle herself and work herself out. And in the meantime, we can go our taxi lights off, our nav lights off, and our beacon off. Just want to check this feathering on the prop. Yep, beautiful. Lovely. That's working really, really well. All right, lovely. That is another flight, guys. That is another flight. Let's bring that down. Let's bring that off and bring our generators off. Right there. And our master battery. And everything is done. Yes, another flight. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this. It's I'm loving this. I'm loving flying this aircraft, and I'm loving being back in OnAir as well, which is really, really cool. Let's cut that off. Let's cut our fuel off up the top there. You are off and you are off, and bring our window up. Let's have a look. There we go. Yeah. Whew. Heavy, very hard landing, very hard landing. Lucky we didn't have any valuable or fragile cargo on there, but it's definitely given us a boost in our income, and we have completed that. So we're going to try and get something. We're at level 3 at the moment. We're going to try and get something heading back, probably back to Morn, perhaps. I do want to start getting some more really small bush strips, which is the plan. I just wanted to get some of these sort of challenges and stuff like that out of the way. So thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next episode. I will see you in the next flight that we do. I am going to stream and probably fly this tonight, so on stream. So hopefully I'll see you guys there. But that will be yesterday. It'll be yesterday. Thanks for watching. See you later.